Let's do this thing. A mailbag is coming your way on today's San Francisco 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr. Hope everybody out there is having a fantastic weekend and you've done something fun and fulfilling. These mailbags are always fun and fulfilling because we get to open up the floor and hear from our loyal subscribers who support the show on a daily basis. And speaking of that, for daily coverage of the 49ers, make sure you hit that sub button. Join the faithful family here at Chat Sports as we're on the road to 134,000 subscribers. We begin this segment with this one coming in from Killa Hunter Ray. How close are we to signing Brandon Aiyuk? I hope that it gets done at some point because I'm talking about the buzz, the speculation, the rumors. But you think about the Niners' timeline, they don't hand out contract extensions, even though they risk the market inflating until training camp or the preseason. This has literally happened the last 4 off seasons in which there has been a marquee homegrown player who's due for a contract extension who has to wait all off season to get paid. George Kittle in 2020, Fred Warner in 2021, Deebo Samuel in 2022, Nick Bosa in 2023, and Brandon Aiyuk here in 2024. So I think at the end of July, early August, is when the Niners can strike a deal with Brandon Aiyuk. Imagine prod. So the cornerback position is crowded. What do you think the lineup is there? That is a great question because I think this is the deepest that the Niners have been at the cornerback spot in quite some time. Maybe the deepest and the most depth that they have at cornerback since Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch took over in 2017. What I think the lineup is going to be, you know that Charvarius Ward is going to be one of your outside starting corners. Outside of that, I like the versatility and the diverse options in which you can go with for the other 2 corner spots. One on the outside, and then the third, slot nickel. You could go Ward on the outside with Diamador Lenore and Renardo Green on the inside. You drafted him in the 2nd round. You could go Charvarius Ward on the outside with either Isaac Yiadom or Rock Ya-Sin on the outside with Diamador Lenore on the inside. And then Renardo Green sees snaps when teams go with 4 wide receivers. They spread it out a little bit, and you find a way to get them on the field as kind of that 4th corner who you're very confident in. And so there are a bunch of different options you can go with. Darrell Luter Jr., Ambry Thomas, Samuel Womack. Those are other players who are going to be vying for snaps. And that's why this competition is going to be really, really good. My guess for what the Niners do week 1, I think it's Charvarius Ward on the outside, Isaac Yiadom on the outside, and then Diamador Lenore on the inside. My other option is Charvarius Ward, Demo on the outside with Renardo Green on the inside. So a couple of different options there. Imagine prod, thank you for that question. Ken Dowsland, Ricky Pearsall has not been signed yet. When do you think the Niners will sign him? I'm almost certain Ricky Pearsall signed his contract. Let me just double check. You might be right. Now, he will sign a 4-year, fully guaranteed contract worth $12.5 million. And I'm not sure if he is signed yet or not. It's not a huge deal if he is not signed. Sometimes these things can last into the offseason. I don't think there are going to be any concerns or questions. Oh my gosh, are the Niners never going to sign Ricky Pearsall? But let me just try to double check here. Bad radio, but bear with us. Yeah, he signed his 4-year contract. I'm almost certain. But anyway, thank you for that question there, Ken. Nick Dolfer, what will it take for the Niners to pay Brandon Aiyuk $28 million and having everyone in line. What will it take? Well, according to Mike Silver, and we talked about this week, the Niners' offer right now is $26 million per year. Brandon Aiyuk wants Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jalen Waddle money, which is about $28 million per year. So right now there's a gap of about $2 million. Which side will budge? Will it be the Niners? Will it be Aiyuk? $2 million doesn't sound like a lot when you're talking about $26 to $28 million per year, but it is a lot to NFL teams as far as they're negotiating. Honestly, what it could come down to, Nick, regardless of what the average annual value is, guaranteed money. Is it going to be $70 million in guaranteed money? What if it's up to $90 million in guaranteed money, but the average annual value is a little bit lower? Do you take the more guaranteed money, but then fewer dollars per year? That's how you kind of have to look at it if you're Brandon Aiyuk's agent, Brandon Aiyuk himself, and then, of course, the 49ers. Because that guaranteed money, that's a big number. Nate Rosario, can we trade for CeeDee Lamb? There's just no way that you could do it. And I get that CeeDee Lamb is a fun player, highly productive player. Last year, he was absolutely sensational with what he was able to do. This is a player that, like Brandon Aiyuk, has been able to get better every single year that he's been in the NFL. And he really capped that off last year by totaling 135 catches on 181 targets for nearly 1,800 yards and 12 touchdowns. That's 3 consecutive years in which he's had 1,100, 1,300 plus, and 1,700 plus yards. His rookie year, he had 935. Now, I've said before here on the show, I think Brandon Aiyuk is better than CeeDee Lamb. And I say that because he's a little bit more consistent. If Brandon Aiyuk were to have 111, 120, 156, 181 targets his first 4 years in the NFL, I believe that Aiyuk's numbers would be stupid. But why a trade is not going to happen, you have to give up way too much, obviously. And then you're going to have to pay CeeDee Lamb a new deal, Brandon Aiyuk a new deal, and Deebo Samuel's making about $24 million per season. That is way too much financial capital in line for 3 players at the same position. Wishful thinking there, Nate, but thank you so much for being a part of the show. Oregon Magic 13. Is Jake Moody going to get better, or should we trade him? Kickers do not have a ton of trade value on the market, especially a player who's a third-round pick and is making some decent coin. I do think, though, that all things considered, Jake Moody was better than what people give him credit for last year. He steps in for Robbie Gould, not easy to do, and he really hit some clutch kicks throughout the playoffs. Now, I know he had a couple of misses, and they were bad misses, right? And it really started in the preseason in which people started to panic. But 20 to 29 yards, he was 7 of 7. 30 to 39 yards, he was 8 of 9. 40 to 49, he was 4 of 6. And then 50 plus, he was 2 of 3. So he hit 84% of his field goals. He was 60 of 61 on his extra points. And then in the playoffs, Jake Moody was 3 of 3 on kicks of 50 plus yards. That's really impressive. And in the Super Bowl, 2 kicks of 50 plus yards. So that tells me he wasn't scared by the moment. We know he has a big leg. Honestly, what's going to be underrated about Jake Moody, you can use him as a weapon with this new kickoff rule. Because if the kicker can kind of sail that ball in between the 10 and the 5, the 10 and the goal line, allows your defense to get started early by pinning the opposing offense back. Tyrick, hopefully I pronounced that right. Last question in this mailbag. Do you think the Niners have a 13-4 record this year? So my initial record prediction, I had the Niners winning 11 games, but then I took a look at the over-under, and in my bold predictions segment for this upcoming season, I have the Niners going over 11.5. So I think they win 12 to 13 games. Last year they won 12, but they mailed it in Week 18 against the Rams. They didn't play their starters. The season before that, They won 13 games, still the number 2 seed behind Philadelphia. So I think 12-13, it's doable. This team is so talented. If they stay healthy, that should be easy to accomplish. The rest disadvantage playing late into the year, of course, those are definitely some concerns. Make sure you subscribe to us here on the show, youtube.com/49ers TV, or even easier, just hit that sub button down below so that you too can be a part of our mailbag.